Live from the Grenadian capital, this is the GBN television news. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine Island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
We all have wishes at Christmas. Maybe it's a car, repairs to your home, new appliances, or travel. Get yourself that perfect gift with a GUT Credit Union Christmas Make-A-Wish loan. You can get the money you need to make that holiday wish come true. Apply for a loan and you'll be entered to win one of 5 shopping sprees at Foodland Supermarket. Plus, great prizes from Sol EC Limited, Dean Mattresses, Digicel Grenada Limited, and Beacon Insurance. Call 440-1354. Email loans@gutcu.com or visit go.gutcu.com/Christmas. Apply now and make your wish the perfect gift this Christmas. Special conditions apply.
This is Network News for Monday, January 9, 2023. In the headlines, Joshua Jones granted $75,000 bail after being charged with causing the death of Ruth Phillip. GBN among entities targeted by a malicious Facebook campaign. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell to begin series of town hall-styled engagements with farmers and other MNIB stakeholders. In around the globe, regionally, Commonwealth team to observe general elections in Antigua and Barbuda. Internationally, Republican Kevin McCarthy elected Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. Plus, in the sports news, secondary schools basketball is back. Good evening, I'm Kenroy Baptiste at Television Center at the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Details after this.
The first segment of the news comes to you compliments Soft Weave Bathroom Tissue.
Have you heard about the new Soft Weave bathroom tissue with total hygiene? As hygiene and safety have taken center stage, our bathroom tissue is now manufactured with 3 different technologies to offer the best protection for you and your family. UVC light technology for a safe and effective disinfection process, eliminating 99.9% of microorganisms. Also, production at high temperatures, killing all types of germs and bacteria. And it's pH controlled with delicate fibers to prevent irritation for even sensitive skin. Soft Weave Total Hygiene Bathroom Tissue. Available in supermarkets and shops island-wide. Visit Soft Weave Caribbean Facebook or Instagram pages for more information.
Top story, death by dangerous driving. That's the charge a Grandins resident is facing following the death of a 38-year-old female in November last year. 28-year-old Joshua Jones of Grandins Valley was arrested and charged with causing death by dangerous driving following investigations into a vehicle accident that resulted in the death of Ruth Phillip. The accident occurred along the Grandins Public Road in St. George on November 19, 2022, resulting in the death of 38-year-old Phillip, a resident of Concord, St. John. Jones was granted bail in the sum of $75,000 with 2 sureties. His bail conditions include suspension of his driver's license pending the completion of the matter. He's also required to surrender all travel documents and report to the South St. George Police Station every Wednesday between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. He'll make his second court appearance at the St. George's Magistrates Court on January 20, 2023. The Grenada Broadcasting Network is among local entities targeted by a malicious Facebook campaign. The National Cyber Security Incident Response Team has issued a warning. Details in this Beverly Telesford report.
A malicious campaign is currently targeting Grenadian companies, organizations, and entities and individuals, including the Grenada Broadcasting Network. The National Cybersecurity Incident Response Team CSIRT issued an advisory to the public on Friday, informing of the growing campaign. ICT Officer Jervis Dabrio of the CSIRT team sounded the warning.
The account behind the campaign is Assistance Service FBS, Assistance Service FBS, and the message they're sending out is to the effect that your account has been or will be permanently disabled for violating some terms of service, and they have provided a link for you to click on so you can verify the account and not have it being permanently disabled.
Mr. Dabrio highlighted the tactic being used by the campaign.
Now, based on our assessment of these pages, not only are they phishing, but it is believed that there is malware on that page as well. So anyone receiving the message who has been tagged in their multiple posts, who click on that link and go there, not only do they run the risk of compromising their account, but they may very well find themselves compromising their device as well.
CSIRT has released a lengthy list of Grenadian entities targeted in the malicious Facebook-based campaign. Dabrio reported it to be quite a dynamic list, including media entities, churches, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, and more.
From the Prime Minister's ministry to churches, schools, and individuals, small businesses, and so there are multiple targets in this campaign. From the National CSIRT, we're asking anyone, whether you manage a page for a company or it's your page, if you receive a message saying that your account will be deactivated, please do not click on the link.
If your business has been found on the list, CSIRT says it's important that you do not click on any link received in relation to the disabling or blocking of the page or account without first verifying the authenticity of the message, which it can assist with. The malicious campaign is ongoing. CSIRT is still working on getting the account taken down. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
Don't allow yourself to become a target or victim. Police are warning citizens to be aware of hackers and scammers. Christina John reports on the pros and cons you should note to minimize the risk of email scams, unauthorized use of debit and credit cards, as well as ATM scams.
Some locals continue to fall victim to various forms of scams, having their accounts hacked into and money withdrawn from their accounts. Kieran St. Clair, Detective Constable attached to the Financial Intelligence Unit, the FIU, as a financial investigator, listed some pros and cons that you should take note of.
You avoid, encouraging third-party transactions, meaning that you avoid disclosing your PIN to a third party, and it is clear the acronym PIN really stands for personal identification number. So there's a reason why it says personal, right? And what that does is that if you avoid asking someone to use your teller card or debit card, credit card, what the case may be, to conduct a transaction, that alleviates the possibility of them actually getting access to it, storing the information for future use. Right? You pay particular attention as well to the keypad and the card slots on the ATM machines for any additional gadgets attached to the system.
St. Clair added that people should be vigilant when conducting transactions in ATMs, ensuring that the surrounding area is well lit and avoid using ATMs positioned in isolated places. The officer shared some tips one can use to avoid falling victim to scams through emails.
You pay close attention to emails, particularly the email threads, and also you synchronize a verification call before acceding to any particular request. So you try to conduct business transactions with known sources, from known sources or with reputable persons. So if you are conducting transactions online, of course you may not want to successfully conduct a transaction with an entity that you don't know. Everyone, most persons are familiar with sites or so like Amazon. Also, you may not want to go ahead and conduct a transaction with a particular entity that you don't know.
Detective St. Clair recommends that people become acquainted with the Grenada National Cybersecurity Incident Response Team within the Ministry of ICT. Their role is to provide guidance on whether or not one should engage in a particular transaction.
So it is important that we follow our debit or credit cards as much as possible when conducting transactions locally. Some entities, based on where the system is set up, they may have to take that card away from you. But really and truly, you should try avoiding entities or places that require them to actually take your card and go out of your site. Because of course, if it's out of your site, they can get access to your information, as well as they could consider things like double swiping or more that you may not be able to see at that particular point in time.
The detective advises cardholders to secure them properly and avoid leaving them exposed in vehicles or lying around, as your information can be easily accessed. Christina John, GBN News.
Now, health officials say the Ministry of Health is closely monitoring the emergent situation in China relative to the recent surge in COVID-19 cases there. Renapet Thomas reports.
Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles says Grenada is keeping an eye on the recent surge in COVID-19 cases in China and some other international countries while making preparations. He said that they are also keeping abreast of assessments that are being carried out at the international level. Last week, Dr. Charles participated in a high-level virtual meeting with officials from the World Health Organization to discuss the recent surge and other COVID-19 related matters.
So we continue to monitor the situation with concern as it evolves in other regions of the world, and as you mentioned, in parts of Asia, particularly China, we have seen an uptick in cases. What we would like to remind the public is that the message about COVID has not changed. All right? It is still a virus that is spread from person to person through the air and from contaminated surfaces and contaminated hands. So the measures that were used most recently to get a handle of the situation here locally are the same measures that we encourage persons to continue to follow in an effort to avoid any lasting problems.
The chief medical officer expressed deep concern, however, about fake reports that have been shared via social media purporting that a new strain of the coronavirus, Omicron, which is 5 times more contagious than the Delta variant, is present in Grenada. Dr. Charles strongly warns against sharing false information that can harm the perception of Grenada's current status and create unnecessary fear among the population. The Ministry of Health recommends and reminds the public to only trust news from credible sources such as the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs via the Government Information Service, the Caribbean Public Health Agency CARPHA, and the Pan American Health Organization. The ministry further reminds citizens to prevent severe disease. At-risk individuals are advised to get vaccinated and boosted.
COVID is going to be an ongoing concern for some time to come. What we have observed is that over time, you have the emergence of different variants of the virus. And these variants they acquire the ability to be transmitted much more easily, I should say. And they can go on to infect many individuals. No, at this time, we have not contemplated instituting any new measures that as it relates to cross-border travel and COVID-19. So at present, no. But we still continue to encourage persons to take the opportunity, especially if you have not been infected in the past with COVID, you're concerned about your health. If you do become infected, you should take the opportunity and get vaccinated.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Coming up in Network News, sod-turning ceremony signals the start of work on Fort George Restoration Project, while Member of Parliament Peter David calls for a name change. We'll be back.
Building or renovating your home or business? Why not use clean, renewable energy? Install solar panels to power your home and office and see your energy costs go down and your savings go up. Using renewable solar-powered energy protects our environment, reduces our carbon footprint, and slows the devastating impact of climate change. Republic Bank can help to finance construction and renovations that make use of renewable energy. Visit any Republic Bank branch and ask about renewable energy financing options today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pockets every month. Plus now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
What does it take to be an amazing woman? Lots of me time. Amazing women are classy, fancy, and a little sassy. It's the drink for me. Cheers! Sometimes you've got to show them who's boss. Alpha male? Nah, alpha females are more amazing. Cheers to securing the bag. We make time for ourselves, for work, friends, and we certainly make time for passion. We're simply amazing. Amazing cream liqueur for the amazing woman in you.
Ridgeway Residences, a modern, exclusive residential community offered by Ariza. Purchase one of our completely built houses or let us build for you by simply choosing your lot, choosing your home design from our selection, and let us do the rest. Owning a home does not have to be a frustrating process. For more information, contact Ariza Credit Union on 415-0994 or send us an email on info@ridgewayresidences.gd. Ridgeway Residences, hassle-free home ownership.
If there was ever a time to keep and stay healthy, it's now. We at Hills and Valley are here to help you take deliberate steps to maintain your health. We stayed true to maintaining the most comprehensive rates while stocking the widest range of medicines and health devices, including personal protective equipment. There are so many benefits shopping with us. You get great savings through discounts for senior citizens and reward cards for loyal customers. Ask about owning yours today. Visit us at Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George, Jubilee Street opposite the Grenville Bus Terminal, and at Hillsborough, Carriacou. Our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street also stocks the widest range of pharmaceuticals. We are with you on the hills and in the valleys. We are Hills and Valley Pharmacy.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
Building or renovating your home or business? Why not use clean, renewable energy? Install solar panels to power your home and office and see your energy costs go down and your savings go up. Using renewable solar-powered energy protects our environment, reduces our carbon footprint, and slows the devastating impact of climate change. Republic Bank can help to finance construction and renovations that make use of renewable energy. Visit any Republic Bank branch and ask about renewable energy financing options options today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Rebecca Television Center, the government of Grenada is optimistic that it can draw down the necessary funds to restore the historic 18th century French fortress, Fort George, to its former glory. After a 5-year delay, a symbolic sword-turning ceremony was held last Friday. Nisha Paul tells us more.
Funding for the infrastructural development of Fort George was approved in 2017 under the U.S. $26 million World Bank-funded OECS Regional Tourism Competitiveness Project. The project sought to anchor tourism investment development in Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Lucia, and is scheduled to end in August. With much of its elaborate colonial structure intact, Fort George has for years served as the base for police headquarters, which has adopted a phased approach to relocating some of its offices, making way for its rehabilitation. Infrastructure Minister Dennis Cornwall has pledged government's commitment to rebuilding the facility in a timely manner.
We are almost towards the end of the financing cycle, and therefore we have a very huge task to ensure that this project finish within the time frame, because we do not want a situation whereby the funds become unavailable, if we do not implement within the time frame.
The World Bank is one of the main financiers of developmental projects in the country and uses a project cycle to design, prepare, implement, and supervise projects. Minister for Implementation Andy Williams says project implementation has not moved beyond 4% in the last 5 years.
This project here that we are about to commence should have been started 5 years ago. But here we are. The message I've been toiling hard to drive home is that no one entity can cultivate and implement a project on its own without the invaluable mutual support of all partners and stakeholders.
Acting Permanent Secretary in the MIT Ministry, Perron Johnson, says the project represents another milestone in government's transformative agenda and commitment towards infrastructural development in the country.
Given the level of commitment I have witnessed over the past 5 months from my minister and other line ministries, I stand here very confident that the ministry is well poised to work with the other ministries in the implementation of this very important project in a timely manner.
Rehabilitation of Fort George is being conducted by Sunrise Construction Company in a joint venture with Trinidad-based contractor Key Chanona Limited with civil engineering services from INES Consulting Engineers. For GBN News, I am Nisha Paul.
Meanwhile, as restoration gets on the way, Member of Parliament for the Tongue of St. George, Peter David, is urging the government to consider renaming Fort George in memory of Rupert Bishop, the father of slain Prime Minister Maurice Bishop. Nisha Paul has another report.
As history has it, Rupert Bishop was shot and killed on the carnage on Monday, January 21st, 1974, also known as Bloody Monday, while trying to protect school children from a freelance paramilitary force during a demonstration against the Gary government. When the fort became the headquarters of the People's Revolutionary Army 5 years later in 1979, the historic structure was renamed Fort Rupert in his honor.
It was that heroism and selflessness that the renamed fort was intended to seeking to capture before it was changed 40 years ago this year. And so, as we move forward, that reverend reference must once again be recaptured. The renaming of this fort as Rupert should be considered. Keeping this place as Fort George will in fact not be in keeping with this time of new consciousness and repaired pride.
He reflected on the significant historical value of the fort, which was renamed Fort George after the demise of the Grenada Revolution.
In many ways, this place is hallowed ground where in October 83, Prime Minister Maurice Bishop and other comrades were killed. That occurrence was the most far-reaching in modern, if not all, of Grenadian history. At the time, as I alluded to, it was named after his father, Rupert, who met a brutal death 9 years earlier on the carnage not so far from here.
Mr. David says the time has come to rename the fort to reflect and capture the modern Grenadian spirit and reality.
As we now seek its refortification, pun intended, maybe the time has come, if not overdue, to have it renamed once and for all to reflect both the Grenadian spirit and reality. As more people come here, both locals and visitors, let its rightful name reflect a refreshing stanza that adequately captures the story that should be told.
Tourism Minister Lennox Andrews has given assurance that the rich history and cultural values of Fort George will be restored, preserved, and maintained. He says the project will serve as a pilot for the restoration of other historical sites in the country. For GBN News, I am Nisha Paul.
Final 4 days for submissions, plus an increase in prize money and some adjustments to dates for this year's Independence Calypso competition. Christina John reports.
Calypsonians have already begun making submissions for this year's Independence Calypso competition. Others are encouraged to do likewise. The competition will go through 3 rounds: the preliminary round, the semi-final, and a final round.
This year, we are having the competition in 2 stages, 3 stages, but 2 stages with a band. We have the preliminary round, then we have the semi-finals, then we have the finals. So the preliminary round will be judged just as last year. You send in your songs, and we listen to the songs, and we judge from there. The semi-finals now will be performed using a band. So if you make it to the semi-finals from the preliminary round, you will be performing with a band. And that goes the same way for the finals.
Member of the National Celebrations Committee with special responsibility for Calypso, Adrian Mark, says the dates for submission have been extended to this Friday, January 13th, giving artists an opportunity to improve their craft.
Submission of songs will be the 13th of January. The judging for the preliminary will be on the 14th. And the announcement for the semi-finals will be the 16th. The semi-finals now will be on the 28th of January. That will be at La Sagesse. The finals will be on the 3rd of February at the Sotes Bus Terminus.
Artists can expect more in their pockets as prize monies for the competition has been increased. The appearance fee for semi-finalists will be $2,000. Prize money for the finals are as follows: first place $10,000, second place $8,000, $6,000 for third place, and $4,000 for fourth place, with an appearance fee of $2,500.
Surprisingly, at present, I could say I have 2 entries already going into the preliminaries. So that never happened before. We're talking about years gone by. We're looking at the middle of January to almost the end of January for us to get entries. But as I tell you, to date, I have in my hand 2 entries already for the preliminary round. So I'm looking. I could anticipate that there will be a lot more entries leading into the preliminary round. I am looking for 30 plus for the preliminary round going into the semifinals. For the semifinals, you are expected to have 20 artists, in competition. And from that 20 artists in the semifinals, we will choose 9 coming up at the reigning monarch, Sean Niles, the Sour Serpent.
Mark reminds Calypsonians that their composition should contain some aspect of the independence theme, which is the journey to 50, reflecting on the past, planning for the future. Christina John, GBN News.
Some Grenadians welcome government's offer to forego interest and penalties on tax arrears. That's what's creating a buzz on social media.
We present the news. You analyze the various topics and distill the issues as they unfold. Your distillation points matter as we're about to highlight them in our social buzz.
100% off on interest and penalties if you are in tax arrears before the period December 31st, 2021. You are eligible.
Government has taken the decision to implement a tax amnesty, granting taxpayers who are in arrears an opportunity to begin on a clean slate. Randy Boyk Cadet, Deputy Comptroller, Inland Revenue Department, explains who is eligible and from which period.
Inland Revenue Division is currently on an amnesty program effective January 1st, 2023, and this program will go until the end of this year, December 31st, 2023.
Social media users took to the comment section to share their thoughts about this development. The following views are those of members of the public and not of the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Ricardo said, "Great, thanks, well done. However, another fact, the overpayment of taxes and procedures to get the money back needs to be addressed. Your policies on time payment has us by the fault and fined, but payback policies is not in the customer's interest, but the system's." Brenda said, "Listen carefully. This only applies to a certain period, and you still have to pay your entire tax payment in full. It only gives you time for your arrears up to 2021, not 2022 and going forward." Samson is asking, "Who is paying me my tax refund, which is due over 5 years now? I hope there is interest on that." That's what's buzzing tonight. We encourage you, our viewers and listeners, to submit your think pieces on trending topics locally, regionally, and internationally via our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Continue to share your thoughts and concerns with us on our social media platforms.
Next in Network News, Karakou to kick off Grenada's 49th anniversary of independence celebrations on January 22.
Start the new year right with extra cash when you take your next Quartz Ready Cash loan. Get $100 Quartz cash with your $5,000 loan and double the rewards with your next loan of $8,000 or over. Get your loan now and pay nothing down and get 30 days to make your first installment. Plus, hassle-free service, flexible payment terms, and 24-hour approval. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, payslip, references, and a job letter. Let's ring in the new year with some extra cash from Quartz Ready Cash. Conditions apply. Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
This is GBN. We've got the means, the power, and the medium. This segment is brought to you by Flow.
Paying is faster and easier with Flow FastPay. Use your MasterCard or Visa and pay from anywhere. Log on to discoverflow.co/fastpay and press Consumer. Select your country and enter your account number. Enter the amount to be paid and an email address. Enter your credit card information. You'll receive a payment confirmation with the transaction details, along with a receipt to your email address. It's fast, safe, and easy. Flow, keeping you connected.
Hello again. Guided by the theme, The Journey to 50, reflecting on the past, planning for the future, the Sister Isle of Carriacou will get the ball rolling with a church service in January 22 to commemorate Grenada's 49th anniversary of independence. Deanna Isaac, National Celebrations Committee representative in Carriacou, shared highlights of what can be expected.
First activity for Carriacou and Petit Martinique will be the church service in Carriacou, which will be held at Christ the King Anglican Church on January 22nd at 3 p.m. Following the church service on the 22nd, we have what is called a cultural evening at the Botanical Gardens. We have already contacted a backing band who will also provide entertainment for us. We have contacted a number of cultural groups on Carriacou. We'll have the Big Drum, we'll have a group over from Petit Martinique, we'll have a number of Calypsonians as well. We have what is called our awards and cocktail evening at the Casada Bay on the 28th. That will be at 7 o'clock.
12 individuals will be awarded. However, the selection process will be made from suggestions and submissions from members of the public. Sporting activities are also in the lineup of activities.
Have a number of sporting activities that will involve the primary and secondary schools in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Our senior coach Sebastian Steele is a member of the committee and he is totally responsible for executing those sporting programs. Tennis is a first for us. It has started in Carriacou in a big way over the last 4 years by Mr. Mario Blaze, and we want to ensure that the tennis players also feel a part of what we are doing.
Nature provides the perfect picture. It's time to take a peek through the GBN eyesore lens.
A good eye catches all. GBN eyesore is brought to you by Clear Vision.
Life is beautiful if only you can see it. Clear Vision Eye Center helps you do just that. We provide expert service, classy eyewear, and cutting-edge technology, all with a quality customer experience. See better, feel better, and look better. Meet us today at clearvisiongrenada.com or call 444-0055, WhatsApp 409-0055, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Clear Vision Eye Center. Let's see life and the world with a clear vision.
Our eyesore reporter tonight submitted a photograph of what it looks like when the sun goes down on the town that never sleeps, Guave. Our citizen journalist included a little write-up. It read, and I quote, "This seaside village is often bustling with fishing boats, fishermen pulling in their catch, vendors selling fresh fruits and vegetables amidst lush vegetation, colorful hillsides, and many refreshing rivers. With a constant spirit of conviviality, it is not surprising that this village never sleeps, even after the sun goes down with the most glorious sunsets." End quote. We thank our eyesore reporter for that submission. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Secondary schools basketball is back. Sports News is next.
Your
Gifts of Love for Cheer 2.0. 'Tis the season for holly jolly days at the communal. It's all about sharing the warmth of this season with those you love. Getting on this special loan, taking advantage of great interest rates with no principal payments until January 2023. Share the gift of love. Make it a merrier Christmas with the communal. Exciting prizes for members throughout the promotion. For we are your Santa this Christmas. Offer ends January 31st, 2023. Lending terms and conditions apply.
Level of convenience and comfort awaits you when you shop at Rise and Shine Supermarket and Hardware Supplies, Griffin Lane, Grenville. Convenient, because we are open Sunday to Sunday. We're even at your service on public holidays. Comfort, because we are easily accessible to the physically challenged. Free Wi-Fi is available while you shop, and bags come at no charge. Everyday low prices and excellent customer care. Adequate parking available. We supply everything you can possibly think of. Family and home supplies, fresh meat, vegetables, and personal care products. All brands of cooking gas at affordable prices. You can send in your order, have it pulled, or pick up express.
Sporting fans, good evening. The annual Inter-School Secondary School Basketball Competition sponsored by Subway gets underway from Wednesday, January 11. After 2 years of no competition, Anthony Benjamin, senior basketball coach in the Ministry of Sports, says games will be played at 3 locations: Carenage, St. George, Grenville, St. Andrew, and Guave, St. John. Benjamin says this year's competition will see some changes.
This year's competition is going to be a little different to the normal, where we have 2 zones and everybody in the zone play round robin. But this year what we're going to do, we will be grouping the teams because we have a late start. We start in January and usually we start in November. So we're going to group both the male and female teams, and from the groupings they're going to play each other in the group, and the top 2 from each group is going to emerge into a knockout phase.
The senior basketball coach says both the defending champions in the male and female divisions are expected to participate in the competition.
This competition is expected to run from January 11th to February 6th. We have 7 female teams registered to participate. The defending champion from last year is the Happy Hill Secondary, and we have 12 male teams, and the defending champion in the male division is the Grenada Boys Secondary School.
Efforts to ensure a smooth start to the upcoming Independent Secondary School Senior Cricket Tournament, cricket coaches and other sports officials met on Friday, January 6, to discuss the logistics surrounding the event. Raphael Crony, member of the National Celebrations Committee, encourages members of the various sporting disciplines to participate in the upcoming Independence activities.
There's so much that you can get from sports. And, the question was asked, we have just started. And we think that the discipline that we have put forth, we think that their discipline, we think that would be able to run off really effectively to make a difference. And therefore, we want to encourage you. All the other organization is not that we just choose 3 sports, but all the disciplines are in mind. And we would like to really have a situation where we are able to bring back all our disciplines. So I just want to encourage the schools and all the participants really to, put every effort and to make sure that they take this opportunity to look to move further in the development of sports in this country.
Right, so the tournament will bowl off on January 23. Carriacou will face Happy Hill Secondary School at the Boseju playing field. This other story to report: Haiti under-20 international Watts Lezard has signed with FC Tulsa for the new United Soccer League Championship season, which gets on the way in March. The 19-year-old forward was a standout at the CONCACAF Under-20 Championship last July, grabbing the attention of Tulsa's scouts with a goal and 2 assists. He currently lives on Haiti's north coast and plays for his native Real Hope Football Academy in the country's top flight, but will now join the Southern United States club pending league approval, of course. His signing is the 5th addition to Tulsa's strike force ahead of the new season, which runs from March 11 to October 14. The club, which campaigns in the Eastern Conference, missed out on the playoffs last season after winning only 12 of their 34 games to finish 8th in the standings. At FC Tulsa, he will play alongside Jamaica under-20 international Christopher Pearson, a midfielder who signed for the outfit last summer. We wish him the very best. That is the sports news for now. The Commonwealth will deploy a group to Antigua and Barbuda to observe the general election scheduled for January 18. Prior to deployment, the group will also have briefings with the country's political party representatives, police officers, and several stakeholders there, including officials from the Electoral Commission, the media, and civil society groups representing women, youth, and people with disabilities. We get more in this Antigua and Barbuda Today report.
Former President of the Seychelles, Danny Faure, will lead a 5-member team of Commonwealth election observers to Antigua-Barbuda for next week's general election. The other members are Kenyan politician and former Senator Gideon Moy, Vincentian journalist Claire Kaiser, member of the United Kingdom House of Lords, Baroness Denise Kingsmill, and former Chief Election Officer of Zambia, Patrick Criticus Shando. The group's mandate is to observe the preparations for the election, the polling, counting, tabulation procedures, and the overall election environment, as well as consider any factors that could impinge upon the credibility of the process as a whole. Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland says the group, which is independent and impartial, will assess the overall conduct of the election. The group will then make recommendations which will contribute towards strengthening the country's electoral process. They will arrive in Antigua on January 14. The group will submit its recommendations in a report to the Commonwealth Secretary General, who will forward it to the Antigua-Barbuda Electoral Commission, party leaders, and all Commonwealth governments.
Guyanese President Irfan Ali said that his government could not give every household $1 million from the oil revenues. Instead, he said that the money would go to the development of the economy. We get more in this HGP TV report.
There has been mounting calls for sustainable cash transfers, but President Irfan Ali said that the state cannot afford to give every household $1 million. The head of state made this clear during a stakeholder discussion for 2023 and beyond at State House in Georgetown on Thursday night.
Building an economy that is not sustainable, as I said, with these lofty, nonsensical ideas of sharing out $1 million to every family. As a society, we have to debunk these type of fallacy. Otherwise, all of us will be part in building a future that is unsustainable.
According to President Ali, his administration is focused on improving the country's competitiveness while building national prosperity. To this end, the president said his vision for 2030 and beyond is to put Guyana as a leader in food security, health, and manufacturing services, among others.
We have to build a future that develops the competitiveness of our country, increase our productivity, deploy more people to the workforce, enhance our wages, and build national prosperity that reaches the household level. And at every level, we are addressing this.
The main opposition, the APNU-AFC coalition, has been calling on the government to make sustainable cash transfers to the Guyanese populace. This is in light of the high cost of living as well as the poverty rate in Guyana.
But impressive economic numbers and government expenditures mean little if the quality of life of most Guyanese continues to stagnate or decline.
Only recently, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, during a podcast called on the government to dole out cash transfers in a sustainable way. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, Shamar Allen.
On the international scene, Republican Kevin McCarthy was elected Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives on Saturday after 5 days of chaotic voting. Details from Al Jazeera.
After an historic wait, after leaking into a fifth day, after a night of drama and confrontation, it was 15th time lucky for Kevin McCarthy. The Californian Republican finally flipped enough votes to secure the position as Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives.
As Speaker of the House, my ultimate responsibility is not to my party, my conference, or even our Congress. My responsibility, our responsibility, is to our country.
He told everyone he had the votes to win on the 14th round. He didn't. 2 votes of present. Gates essentially blocked his way to the chair as he fell short of the number of votes required by 1. It led to incredible scenes on the House floor, with the two being confronted by colleagues. Words were exchanged, fingers pointed, and physical confrontation apparently avoided, as one congressman had to be held back by colleagues. The conversations continued, and suddenly a vote to adjourn to Monday was rejected. McCarthy wanted to go again. The scene summed up by one Democrat as he offered his party's nominee for the post.
Madam Clerk, I rise to say, wow.
As the voting began again, one congresswoman expressed her exasperation at the extended process. And then it was done. McCarthy finally became Speaker of the 118th Congress. Kevin McCarthy moved into the Speaker's office earlier this week, but several times in the chamber it looked premature. A group of ultra-conservatives blocked his elevation, but slowly he ground them down, offering a raft of concessions, including a change of rules in who could challenge the Speaker and the promise of seats on influential committees. Democrats congratulated McCarthy on his win, but warned he faces problems to control his own party. One Republican said the issues of the last few days will have no impact on his party's long-term prospects, the 2024 presidential election creeping ever closer.
I think it's been hard on the party and a little bit frustrating, but I don't think it's left a scar. I don't think it's anything permanent. And as I've said a number of times as well, 6 months from now, no one will be thinking about this.
And that could be an issue for Kevin McCarthy. He has an extensive agenda he wants to push through Congress, but to do that, he needs a united party, and it has been anything but in the last few days and hours. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, on Capitol Hill in Washington.
We'll remind you of the headlines after this. This is GBN. A reminder of the headlines. Joshua Jones granted bail in the sum of $75,000 after being charged with causing the death of Ruth Phillip. GBN among entities targeted by a malicious Facebook campaign. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell to begin series of town hall-styled engagements with farmers and other MNIB stakeholders. In around the globe, regionally, Commonwealth team to observe general elections in Antigua and Barbuda. Internationally, Republican Kevin McCarthy elected Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. Plus in the sports news, secondary schools basketball is back. If you missed any part of this newscast, the repeat of it will be broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight. Continue to follow us online, gbn.gd, on GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel for these and other top stories. A reminder that Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell is slated as the guest of this evening's Beyond the Headlines on GBN. The program will get underway at 8 o'clock. You can tune in to the live broadcast on GBN TV, GBN's K105 FM, the Grenada Broadcasting Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. I'm Kenroy Baptiste. That's the news. Good night.